How in the world did Nagi go from the 5-stage revolver to the 5-stage cycle of grief and despair? I truly feel for my guy, but I need to see this lock-in arc take place. What's going on, everyone? My name is Animasu, and in today's video, as usual, I'll be covering the weekly Blue Lock chapter 306, titled Hello. We once again take a peek into the outside life of Nagi Seishiro and get some heavy implications for the future of his story, so I'm actually really excited to go over it. If you enjoy staying up to date with Blue Lock or just want to support the channel, please take a moment to click that subscribe button, comment below your thoughts on the chapter, and consider checking out my community Discord linked in the description. Without further ado, let's get right into the chapter, and thank you all so much for your time. Blue Lock chapter 306 begins with an outside view of a school as the bell rings to mark the end of the day. With Nagi's classmates stretching and chatting about their plans, one of them suggests going to practice. However, that idea is immediately thrown out in favor of slacking off and playing Mario Kart in the club room. One even calls dibs on Donkey Kong, which I know this man is the most toxic one in the friend group on the game. Let me know in the comments who's y'all's favorite Nintendo character. Mine is definitely Link without a doubt, and I cannot wait for that Legend of Zelda movie to come out. What's interesting here is how Nagi seems to glare at them with his head down, almost as if he's watching them make the same lazy choices he once did, and he's clearly not a fan of it anymore. Instead of joining in with his classmates or talking to anyone, Nagi walks down the stairs alone with his head hanging low. He walks right out of the building, passing by a football pitch where some students are practicing. He pauses for a moment and glares at them too before continuing on, hopping on his bike and riding off. It's subtle, but little things like that practice used to mean nothing to him, but now they visibly bother him and give him flashbacks to Blue Lock. As we see him riding home along a beautiful route on his bike, Nagi slumps over the handlebars with a completely dead expression. He's thinking deeply, stuck in his own mind, wondering if this is how he's going to be from now on. This is a life he'll live until the day he dies, just existing with no purpose, weighed down by a past he never took full advantage of. He grits his teeth and begins pedaling harder. He leans forward, building up speed, all while thinking about whether he'll ever be able to feel that passion again. If he'll spend the rest of his life knowing what it feels like to be alive, to burn with ambition, but never to actually reach that place again. The scene then picks up in intensity as Nagi pedals faster and faster up a hill. Cars even pass by him as he struggles, but he doesn't stop. He knows deep down that he would absolutely hate to live in that kind of future. He's breathing heavily now, and yet his eyes seem to have gained back some light. Finally, he says he wants to go back, right now. Sure enough, the next panel zooms out to reveal that he's heading uphill towards the Blue Lock facility. Looking up at the building and the logo, Nagi thinks about how he wants to reinvent himself. He wants to re-meet the version of himself that existed there, the version of Nagi Seishiro who actually gave a damn. He makes it to the front door and immediately starts banging on it, yelling and begging to be let in. He pleads with the camera and makes his case, saying that more than anyone else, he needs another chance to fight in Blue Lock. And to be honest, it's kinda hilarious too. Bro really pulled up talking about some "please ego, I need this. I'm basically homeless. I live with myself, please." The facility camera though just watches him without a word. No response. Nagi looks up like the Terminator and calmly says, "I'll be back." Sure enough, he zooms back down the hill and then returns shortly after with a giant bag of stuff strapped to his back. You already know the ride up was 3 times harder with all that weight, but clearly, this shows he cares. Once again, Nagi bangs on the door and begs to be let in. Still no answer. But this time, instead of leaving, he starts to unpack everything he brought with him. First we see a football, some melon bread, and a lantern. I actually have no clue what melon bread is, nor would I want to try it based on the name, but someone out there has to have eaten it. If y'all know what that is, or if it's good, let me know in the comments. What seals it all is at the next page, where Nagi finishes up setting a literal tent outside of the front door. He's got a sleeping bag inside, the lantern's hanging, and honestly, it kinda looks like a vibe. I would totally chill with bro if I had the chance. We even see him practicing kick-ups and doing tricks in front of the camera, like he's trying to impress his way back in with flair. As night falls, he lays down in his sleeping bag with the tent flap open to nature and just sleeps out there alone. It's really sad, but it's also kinda funny at the same time. Nagi fans, don't take it the wrong way. I love our boy too, but this is one of the most pitiful and honest moments we've ever seen from him. The next morning, Nagi wakes up with the same blank expression and absolutely nothing to do, so he literally starts climbing a tree just to pass time. Spotting a rhinoceros beetle on one of the branches, he stares at it like it's the most interesting thing in the world, which tells you just how cooked he is mentally now. As the day drags on and dusk falls again, he makes himself up some curry in a small pot, only to start freaking out over how spicy he accidentally made it. Finally fed up with the silence and isolation, Nagi winds up and fires a shot straight at the front door, yelling for someone to please open the damn thing. After the ball bounces off the door and rolls away, he slumps to the ground, staring up at the camera again. Realizing nothing he does is getting a response, he whips out his iPhone 15 Pro Max Rose Gold 500GB edition and starts scrolling through his contacts to figure out who can help him. We see the usual names pop up: Isagi, Bachara, Shigure, Baru, Santetsu. All people he's played alongside and has a history with liking. For a second, he considers reaching out to Isagi, maybe even Baru, thinking one of them might hear him out. It's still really funny to me that the leakers mistranslated Isagi Yoichi's name as Itoshi Rin because everybody thought for a second that the Nagi and Rin friendship agenda was true. But after mulling it over, he decides that the one person who would really get him in touch with ego is Ryo Mikage. That's where the heartbreak hits though. Nagi checks out their old chat, but the screen says, "This account is not accepting messages from you." Ryo full-on blocked him, like their entire partnership meant nothing. I won't lie, if I saw that notification too, I'm crashing out immediately. To make things even worse, there's some blurred Japanese text between them, and while I tried my best to zoom in and read it, it's just way too damn blurry to make out. If anyone out there manages to find a translated version or can do it themselves, please tag me. And then just to rub salt into the wound, the Blue Lock facility camera finally speaks, right then at the worst time. But it's not Ego Jinpachi, but Henri, who hits him with the cold truth. She tells Nagi that the property he's camping on is private, and if he doesn't leave soon, they'll call the police and charge him with trespassing. Nagi's stunned, trying to piece together a response, but Henri cuts him off before he can say anything more. She drives the nail in by saying he's no longer had any connection to Blue Lock. He's not authorized to be there, and just to cap off the pain, the skies open up and start pouring rain once again at the worst moment possible. His head droops, his eyes darken, and he realizes that she's right. What he's doing isn't brave or clever, but rather desperate and sad. As he slouches down soaked and miserable, he starts to remember the words he told Ryo, encouraging him to become the best in the world on his own now. But now here he is, basically begging to go back to Ryo. He calls himself a pain again, echoing the words he once said to him during their first breakup, and you can tell it's eating him alive. With his hand over his face, Nagi spirals even deeper. He wonders what made him think coming back like this would work, that he could just show up and everything would fall into place. He says it's uncool, that he's disgusted with himself, and honestly, it's one of the most raw emotional moments we've seen from him. This is no longer the laid-back prodigy, but rather an innocent kid falling apart. The rain and his tears mix as he stares down at his phone, admitting it's impossible to return to that world now. He's failed, and on top of that, he tried to lean on Ryo again like nothing had happened. As he looks at the blocked message, he basically quotes the song Creep by Radiohead, and the panel cuts to his empty, soggy tent, showing just how alone he truly is. Sitting in the rain, Nagi cries that everyone else is already moving on. That's the part that hurts the most. Not just being left behind, but realizing it in real time. He wishes he never had to face this kind of truth. Rage starts bubbling up as he lashes out, kicking out things and even throwing his phone into the air. His voice cracks as he yells that he, Nagi Seishiro, is the only one still stuck in place. Rain pours down on his chin and he starts punching the door again over and over, screaming that he's the only one who still can't change. It's a raw and ugly confession, but honestly, in that moment, you can really see the parallel between him and someone like Kaiser. Both of them are characters who wore masks, Nagi with his lazy genius persona and Kaiser with his emperor act. But when the pressure hit, both had to face the truth of who they really were. Nagi says that time now has stopped for him. Just then, lightning flashes across the sky, freezing the scene in a surreal moment where the storm feels suspended in midair. It's a subtle but beautiful detail to accompany his dialogue. And then, as he pulls back his bloody hand from the door, a shadowy figure appears behind him, holding an umbrella. This man steps forward with a grin, and it's none other than Badatsura, the JFU president. His dialogue bubble is completely blacked out, which already tells us everything we need to know. He's not here to save Nagi, he's here for profit. With that being the final page of today's chapter, the upcoming chapter 307 is apparently titled Bunny. I have no clue what that could mean, but we do know for certain based on the outro text that it will focus on Isagi Yoichi heading to Spain and apparently having some kind of new encounter. While I hope he's either watching an El Clasico match to study Sai or maybe even training with him, it does say new encounter, which makes me think he'll probably talk to a club coach or maybe a captain to better understand the actual philosophy of Tiki-Taka. Whatever the case ends up being, the chapter will officially release on June 17th, with leaks more than likely dropping Monday morning on June 16th, so comment your theories down below. As usual, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Nagi's breakdown, Isagi's trip to Spain, and all that good stuff. I'll have a variety video up tomorrow as well as 2 this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next one shortly.